Good afternoon, class. Welcome to Miss Reed's 5th grade social science class. Today we will be discussing and learning about ancient Rome and how it correlates to the 5 themes of geography. I want everyone right now to take out their social science notebook, and I want you guys to brainstorm for the next 5 minutes and write down whatever you know about ancient Rome. Anything. Just so we can get maybe some knowledge on here. At this point, after the 5 minutes goes, I would ask some volunteers to raise their hand to give examples of what they think maybe what was in ancient Rome. So at the end of this lesson, all the students should know what the 5 themes of geography of ancient Rome are, and make sure we're taking notes because there will be something at the end. So let's start. What are the 5 themes of geography of ancient Rome? The first one we're going to talk about is location. Does anyone know where ancient Rome is located? That's okay. So the picture I'm going to show you is Europe. Europe is with different countries. So if we're looking at a map of Europe, you will see Italy. It kind of looks like a boot. A lot of people say that. And that is where Rome is. It's in Italy. So your next photo that I would show you is a map of Italy and Rome being starred where it would be. I also wanted just to show you guys a little up view of what Rome would look like from an upper view, and some really cool points like the Colosseum and the Roman Forum and all that kind of fun stuff. And I will get into what those are in a little while. But I just want you guys to just put it together and just look at it. That's all. So 2 types of locations that we're going to discuss. These 2 locations should be familiar with for you guys. We went over these before, but this is just a refresher. So I'm going to tell you about absolute location, and it's the exact point on the map using longitude and latitude. And don't forget, longitude is vertical and latitude is horizontal. So if you were to ask yourself what's the exact point of ancient Rome, it would be 41 degrees north and 12 degrees east. And like I said, it's just kind of describing the exact point. So relative location is what's surrounding. So pretty much it's what's near it, what's surrounding it. So I would say Rome is south of Germany and east of France and north of Africa and that kind of stuff. So that's what relative location would be. Our next theme would be physical characteristics of ancient Rome, which I thought was really cool. So I got to go to Rome for a week, and I got to learn so many different things. And some of these things that I researched, I didn't even know about. So it was kind of cool looking back on where I've been and being able to remembering these things, but now I'm learning more, doing the research for you guys and having you understand what the 5 themes are. So like I said, this is physical characteristics, and it's just pretty much descriptions of water and land and mountains and all that kind of fun stuff. So Rome was built on 7 hills, which I thought was really neat. And there were also the Alp Mountains around Rome, so it would help them hide people from attack, and so they wouldn't just get, attacked on, but those mountains really helped. And then lastly is the Tiber River, and it runs through the whole city, and like I said, the city's just beautiful. And I just remember like standing over on a bridge looking at that river, so I thought that was pretty cool. So those are some physical characteristics that you should understand from Rome, ancient Rome. So the places that make it unique, though, are these couple things are like St. Peter's Cathedral, which is one of the largest churches and well known in ancient Rome. And then also we have the Roman Forum, which is an open area with ruins, and it has just very ancient, and it's just, when you go there and you see these pictures, it's just very very cool in a way. And then lastly, the biggest thing I think when I think of ancient Rome is the Colosseum, and it's just a massive theater that's made out of stone, and they would just have like combats, fights, and just gladiator fights and all that kind of stuff. And those three things that I just talked about were actually all man-made features of ancient Rome that are still standing, so that's pretty cool. So does anyone know of maybe the next theme or any other themes? So the next theme that I want to talk about is human environmental interactions of ancient Rome. And what it is its relationships between human and the environment. Now, ancient Rome was back in that time, there was really no doctors or anything like that, so they were very they were known for like a plague in a way, so like diseases that just kept coming and like all that kind of stuff. And pretty much malaria was a big one back then, and they just that's a human environmental interaction, so that's human. And then another one was the Tiber River, and how it just provided ready sources for transporting goods across or down or wherever. And lastly, just they used basic materials. Romans used to create buildings with like concrete and stone, and it's one of the most important things that happens, and which I thought was really cool to understand. So another one would be another theme would be region, and I think region is very hard, but it's very interesting at the same time. So region is more of like interesting about your place and what's kind of unique about it. So for me, it was more like, what's the climate like in Rome? And it's got the Mediterranean climate. It kind of varies just like where we're from, and it just depends on the months and all that kind of stuff. So like I said, they would say January is the coldest and July is the warmest and driest. And then some other things are, you have to think of it as regions are, Italy, the country, has Rome, which is a big city for them, and the United States has New York City, which is big for them. And then also languages there, they spoke English and Italian. Our last theme is movement. So there was a couple, there's only a couple ways they would move. Transportation. Ancient Romans would move with using carriages, and there was 3 different kinds of carriages. You have one for the poor, which are very, noisy and just made of wood and not comfortable. But then you have the rich Romans, which had like the high class, beautiful. They had like a tarp over the top, and it was just more comfortable for their living. And then there also was the stuff they used for like working, like heavy loads of like kind of like trucks, like they would call them, what we would. And then lastly, obviously, you have ships to go from place to place. We also talked about imports and exports for movement. Romans, they exported cereal and wine, and they imported like marble and spices. So I hope you guys understood what the 5 themes of geography are, and I just want to make sure you guys understand them, and just remember their location, physical characteristics, environmental interactions, region, and movement. And I just want you to make sure you understand them, because we are going to do a project, which you will get your place and be able to explain the 5 themes. So we will discuss that more tomorrow in our next lesson. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.